Thanks, Phil. Can you all hear me? Yep, good. I think I've worked with some of you in the audience. I'm an architect by profession. I'm a Mancunian. I remember sitting on my sofa 20 years ago when the bomb went off out in Didsbury. So I spent about 15 years working as an architect. I've worked at BDP, Austin Smith Lord, Shepherd Robson, 3D Reed, and then I had a complete change, and I actually went and started work at Manchester School of Art, and I'm a lecturer now in interior design, which actually has been really fitting because as an architect, I always design buildings I always thought about the inside of buildings and work my way out. So hopefully a lot of that is proving inspirational to the new generation of interior designers out there. But this speech or this presentation isn't about that. This, as Phil rightly says, I got involved with a movement called Urban Sketchers. So my midlife change career at the School of Art sent me off to Singapore for 2 weeks. And, well, frankly, it has changed my life. So I'm not sure, and there's certainly a few people here who sketch with me, but for those of you who don't, here's a little bit about urban sketching. So, what is it? In cities all around the world, a silent sketching revolution is taking place. Countless artists, or we're called correspondents, are picking up their sketch pads, pencils and paints, venturing out onto the streets to capture stories unfolding in real time, a reportage formerly reserved for the written word. Urban Sketchers, it's a charity, it's a movement. It was established by a chap called Gabby Campanario, staff artist on the Seattle Times. And what I discovered in Singapore is that most cities, a lot of cities around the world just have a group of people who go out and draw. There's no rules as long as you're drawing from life. So it's reportage drawing. As the architect in me, I'm also, I should say, a member of the Society of Architectural Illustration. I've always done drawings as part of my architectural career. But other people draw people. They draw things, they draw bicycles, it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter, but it's all about capturing that sense of place, the genius loci, and again, that's when Yati first approached me to talk today. And I sort of realised that, I've been mapping the city through my drawings over the last 4 years. Phil says I draw all the time, and that isn't true, but some of my friends and some of my drawing compatriots draw all the time. We couldn't do it without social media. That's a big factor because it's great to draw. Everyone, people draw, have their sketchbooks, but the great thing is we're online. We're sharing on Flickr, Facebook. When I first got involved after Singapore, our Facebook group, Urban Sketchers globally, had 1,600 people on it. On the Facebook group, last time I checked, we had 46,000. So exponential growth has just been astonishing. But it is educational, there's a lot of academics involved. We aim to show the world one drawing at a time. We have a manifesto, but I say it's all about drawing, sharing, nurturing. It has a real sense of social engagement. Our Manchester group, so enthused from... returning from Singapore, I set up a Manchester group. Again, some of you in the audience I recognise have been sketching with us. On the left, that was Christmas 2012. We're a huddled, cold band of sketchers. Then move forward a year. There we are at City Art Gallery. And then last summer, opening just after the Whitworth had opened. So growing in numbers all the time. The Manchester group, we've got over 1,000 people on our Facebook group. The idea is you go, you draw, you share the drawings, we put all the work out, we nurture, we positively embrace what each other is doing. You know, it's a very supportive environment. And again, we've got students, we've got young people, we've got the full demographic right the way through to very old people, perhaps people who don't have, older than you, Phil, you know, people who perhaps don't get out that much. And they actually, you know, it's a reason, it's a community, it's this shared community which has just been astonishing to be part of. And I feel very privileged to have brought it to Manchester. So we share the drawings, we look at the drawings. The middle image is a slide from just after the Buy Art Fair, not last year, year before, I think. Putting the work out, people draw buildings. It does appeal to a lot of architects, landscape architects, graphics, illustrators, etc. But also, you know, you can see the buildings in the foreground, but somebody's gone and drawn a very big zebra. You know, it doesn't matter. It's great. It's from life. Image on the right, you don't have to draw in a sketchbook. I mean, I can talk quite loudly too. I mean, I draw in a sketchbook this size, moleskin sketchbook. But other people, you can draw on a tablet, you can draw on a smartphone. Again, you can draw big. It doesn't really matter. Entirely up to you. 3 examples of different people's work. On the left-hand side, Elizabeth Sibby, I'm not sure she's here, but Sibby has no background, I hope she won't mind me showing this image, but she has no background in art and design, that I'm aware of. But that is just such an exquisite little sketch of the Royal Exchange, completely captures it. You know, it's great, it's the enthusiasm. I think everybody who gets involved gets passionate about drawing. And again, it comes back to drawing the city. Peveril of the Peak in the middle, Caroline Johnson, very achieved fine artist who sketches with us. And on the right-hand side, my dear friend, Len Grant, again, a number of you will know him. Len is a photographer by profession who discovered urban sketching, and he is just sketching all the time. And he writes stories, he writes narratives. Again, words and drawings work together. It's not what I do, but it's very powerful stuff. Couldn't come here and not show you that image. Here's another. This isn't so much an urban sketch, but this is something I did for Sir Robert McAlpine's when Burley Fields, the MMU building, was being built. And I also did another drawing for John Brooks, who was the VC at MMU at the time. But keeping my eye in, it's all about eye, it's all about how you see. Some more drawings. Again, social media is great, photograph. People, again, sharing these drawings. Do a drawing in a location, upload it on Facebook. Within sort of 5-10 minutes, you're getting comments from people all around the world. And so what's really, really good, they like to see the drawing in context so they can relate to it. Oops. I'm pointing it the wrong way, that's why. Christmas images, 2 Christmases apart, same Santa. From all that, from my sort of enthusiasm for sketching, there came a book, which I was delighted to be the author of. And this was about architectural sketching, and this was published last year. And there's an awful lot of drawings of Manchester in it, not just by me, but by other Mancunian sketchers. And these were some drawings that I did for Argent. I'm not sure if anybody from Argent's here today, but these were drawings, and actually Phil and I collaborated on this, and we did a little publication called You May Look at a Building. And what it was literally sketchbook sketches that became an exhibition that also became artwork. This was like a marketing pod in number 1 in 1 St. Peter's Square. But it's really good to see that images at really small size can you know, be increased, and they don't lose something, they gain something, I would suggest. And that brings me on to probably my main reason for talking to you today. And again, a number of you be aware that The Urban Sketches, I bid on behalf of Manchester last year, and it was announced in Singapore that we'd won the bid, and the symposium that happens every year is coming to Manchester. I say coming every year, it's the 7th annual symposium. It was in Singapore last year. Again, it's all the year before, I say again, travelling, all these amazing opportunities to travel. Not going to be travelling this summer, but it was in Brazil, in Paraty, between Rio and Sao Paulo. The year before last, it was in Barcelona. It's been in Lisbon. I should just comment that if anybody's wondering about the iconic Manchester M, Peter Saville has approved this image, or the sort of reinterpretation of the iconic Manchester M. Here we are in Singapore last summer, 400 people coming to draw the city. Well, this year there's going to be 500 people coming to draw Manchester in July. It's the last week in July. Just some images. Like today, and the Yati's intentions for what today is all about. The symposium does have a series of goals. It's celebrating I'm not going to read them all, but it's celebrating geographic diversity, inviting people to get to know the host's cultural heritage, the people, the food, the music, etc. And one of my big selling points for Manchester was we're a city that likes to party. We're a city that really knows how to show people how to have a really good time. And what's been brilliant is that so many people are behind it and are supporting the bid, including the City Council, Marketing Manchester, Manchester School of Art, Manchester Metropolitan University. It's going to be based at the School of Art, but people will be going out doing drawing workshops over, it's 4 days, incredibly intense. I did say then, we did beat New York, Chicago, Cleveland, Mexico City. So there were a lot of people involved in wanting to bid for it this year. But anyway, those people are coming to Manchester in July. I've been very lucky to be brought out of teaching this term to just concentrate on it because there's so many different logistical things involved. Liz Ackley, who's a fellow sketcher, who has done quite a lot of work with Manchester Histories. You can see her illustrations in the little brochures that you've got on your chairs. Liz is the official correspondent of the symposium. If you go on urbansketches.org, you'll see her blogs. Again, they're on Facebook. We're called, it's just the Urban Sketches Symposium. You can find us quite easily. But Liz is counting down every week, and she will be drawing the drawers, or sketching the sketches, probably that sounds better, when the symposium happens. So we've got 500 people coming. That includes volunteers, scholarships. We've got about 40 instructors coming from around the world. Just to give you an idea, 26 workshops. There was about 90 people who put proposals in. We chose 26. If people come to the symposium, they are drawing all day for 4 days. These workshops are 4 hours, 3.5 hours long. You do 2 in a day plus activities. But what is really interesting is out of the 26 workshops, there's only one that's been run by people from the UK. The rest are all international. And truly international. Just quickly, Arno, Workshop 1 is from Germany. KK Workshop 2 is from Penang, Malaysia. Don Lowe is from Singapore. Fred Lynch is from Boston. Norberto Durantes is from Buenos Aires. Jane Blundell's from Sydney. Jim Richards is from Texas. I'm not going to say them all, but you can really get an understanding of how important these people are. They are landscape architects, educators, illustrators, and they are going to be drawing our city, which obviously the City Council, which we've always talked about already this morning, are very, very excited about, because the legacy of all these people and their work will be it's going to be an incredibly vibrant, intense exciting, challenging, especially logistically, trying to coordinate all these people. And a lot of people from Southeast Asia and America. And I mean, nearly to finish, what sketching has done for me is, as somebody who wasn't particularly well travelled before I started at the School of Art, you know, I've been to Southeast Asia 3 times in the last 4 years. I'm sketching on Ipanema Beach in Brazil, top left. I got adopted by Indonesian sketchers in Singapore last summer. LK standing next to me, that's one of his paintings on the right. And then the 3 images at the bottom, I was in Southeast Asia just in April doing some recruitment workshops for MMU, and I was in 4 countries in 2 weeks. Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand and Vietnam. And in each country, I met sketchers. Didn't always want to meet sketchers, but they wanted to meet me. And they wanted to take me out, they wanted to meet me at the airport, they wanted me to go for dinner. And it's just this global community that I found myself part of. And I don't know, I just feel very, very privileged to be part of it. And as much as I can give back to them, that's why I really want to make this symposium in Manchester be so special. The person on the right is KK, the bottom right. KK is from Penang. What I should say also is all these people, apart from a couple of them, are coming to Manchester in July. That drawing that KK is doing on the bottom right is actually this drawing here. In the true spirit of urban sketches, he gave it to me as I said goodbye to him. Not framed yet, but will be soon. But I mean, just drawn with a Chinese twig, and drawing in Milan. And this is just nearly finished. This is just out drawing with Manchester, the back to our urban sketching group. This was drawing probably about a month ago, a bit of a chilly Manchester day. I'm a bit worried about the weather for the symposium. We're going to have indoor plans. But here we are drawing. Again, at the end of every session, it just brings out the best in people. There is something almost slightly evangelical that people feel so happy when they've done a drawing. And that sense of community, social engagement just can't be underestimated. And just to finish, I think quite a lot of people have probably seen this image. It's been pretty well used now, but this is probably one of the first drawings that started my profile as an architectural illustrator. It sort of, I mean, it encapsulates the city. So in terms of mapping it, it's got just about everything there. Just some people I've worked with. If anybody doesn't know about urban sketches and wants to know more, please talk to me, I'm around. But thank you everybody for your time.
Thank you, Simone. Now you know what my father does in their spare time.